We're continuing with Mysticism and Theology. We had read about the three, the Trinity, and the poet of the Trinity. Again, in a passage of exquisite tenderness. As verily as God is our Father, so verily God is our Mother, and that shewed him in all her revelations, and especially in these sweet words where he saith, I it am, that is to say, I it am, the might, the goodness of the fatherhood. I it am, the wisdom of the motherhood. I it am the light and the grace. That is all blessed love. I am the Trinity, it am the unity, I am the sovereign goodness, and of all manner of things, I am that maketh thee to love. I am that maketh thee to long, it am the endless fulfilling of all true desires, unquote. My goodness, so Christopher, what is she quoting here? So, Christopher Havey, the whole world round is not enough to fill the heart's three corners, but it craveth still. Only the Trinity that made it can suffice the vast triangled heart of man. See, that's Christopher Havey. The whole world round is not enough to fill the heart's three corners, but it craveth still. Only the Trinity that made it can suffice the vast triangled heart of man. Any attempt towards a definition of God which does not account for and acknowledge these three aspects is found in experience to be incomplete. They provide objectives for the heart, the intellect, the will, for they offer to the self material for its highest love, its deepest thought, its act of supreme volition, under the familiar Platonic terms of goodness, truth, and beauty. They represent the divine source, an end of ethics, science, and art. The supreme activities of man, thus the ideals of artist, student, and theanthropist, who all seek under different modes the same reality, are gathered up in the mystics one, as the pilgrimage of the three kings and in the finding of one star. What is God, says St. Bernard? Length, breadth, height, and depth. What, you say, you do after all profess to believe in the fourfold Godhood, which was an abomination to you. Not in the least. God is designated one to suit our comprehension, not to describe his character. His character is capable of division. He himself is not. The words are different, the paths are many, but one thing is signified: the paths lead to one person. All possible ways of conceiving this one person in his living richness are found in the end to range themselves under three heads. He is above and through all and in you all, said St. Paul, anticipating the counsels in a flash of mystical intuition, giving to the infinite church the shortest and most perfect definition of its triune God, being which is above all, manifests itself as becoming as the dynamic, omnipresent word of life, the divine love eminent in the heart. And the world comes forth from and returns to the Absolute One. Thou, my God, who art love, says Nicholas of Cusa, art love that loveth, and love that is lovable, and love that is the bond between these twain. Thus is completed the eternal circle from goodness through goodness to goodness. It is true that to these fundamental respects of the perceived Godhead, that being, becoming, and desire, whereto the worlds keep time, the mystics have given many and various names, for they have something of the freedom of true intimates in treating of the reality which they love. In particular, those objects, symbols of the Absolute, which are drawn from the great and formless forces of the universe, rather than from the orthodox, but necessarily anthropomorphic imagery of the human relationship, have always appealed to them. Their intimate apprehension of the Spirit seems to find freer and more adequate expression in such terms than in those in which the notion of space is involved, or which suggest a concrete picture of the mind, though they know as well as the philosophers that there must always be something symbolic in our way of expressing the spiritual life, since that unfathomable infinite, whose spiritual character is just recognized in our human experience, can never reveal itself fully and freely under the limitations of our earthly existence. Yet they ever speak, like the artists they are, some new and vital image which is not yet part of the debased currency of formal religion, and conserves its original power of stinging imagination to more vivid life. Did you follow any of that? I can't follow it. Thus the kingdom of heaven, says law. That's what's this? Henry. The kingdom of heaven, says law, stands in this threefold life, where three are one, because it is a manifestation of the deity, which is three and one. My goodness. In law. He's an Englishman. The Father has his distinct manifestation in the fire, which is always generating the light. The Son has his distinct manifestation in the light, which is always generated from the fire. The Holy Ghost has his manifestation in the Spirit, that always proceeds from both and is always united with them. It is this eternal beginning Trinity in the unity of fire, light, and spirit that constitutes eternal nature, the kingdom of heaven, the heavenly Jerusalem, the divine life, the beatific visibility, the majestic glory and presence of God. Through this kingdom of heaven, or eternal nature, is the invisible God, the incomparable Trinity, eternally breaking forth and manifesting itself in the boundless height and depth of blissful wonders, opening and displaying itself to all its creatures as in an infinite variation and endless multiplicity of its powers, beauties, joys, and glories. Perhaps an easier, better, more beautiful example of these abstract symbols of the Trinity than laws, fire, light, and spirit is that of light, life, and love. A threefold picture of the real which is constantly dwelt upon and elaborated by the Christian mystics. Goodness, the transcendent light, intangible but unescapable, ever emanating its splendor through the universe, indwelling, unresting, and energizing life, desirous and directive love. These are cardinal aspects of reality, to which they return again and again in their efforts to find words which will express something of the inexpressible truth. Light, light ineffable and uncreated, the perfect symbol of pure, undifferentiated being above the intellect, as St. Augustine reminds us, but none to him who loves, known to him. It's known to him who loves. Thus, uncreated light is the, quote, deep yet dazzling darkness of the Dionysian school, dark from its surpassing brightness, as the shining of the sun on his course is as darkness to weak eyes. It is Saint Hildegard's Lux Vivens, Dante's Soma Luce, wherein he saw multiplicity in unity, the ingathered leaves of all the universe, the eternal Father, or fount of things, quote, for well we know, says Rybrook, that the bosom of the Father is our ground and origin, whereupon in our life and being is begun. To stop after the light. We have the light, the life, and I believe we're going to have the love the next time. We're still working out the threefold stuff with the Trinity, reading within mysticism and theology.